Welcome back to the Frith Guild podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
And I'm co-host Scott.
And today we'll be going over chapters 6 through 10 of Academy Arcanists. It was announced. And with that, we will get into chapter 6, Equal Opportunity. Now, we ended the last week's chapter off on Gray coming clean to the unicorns, the entire town essentially coming to witness his that he did in fact lie to these unicorns to try to get their trial worth and to bond to them. Thankfully he didn't, but still going to be in a massive lot of trouble. Gray was getting his just rewards from his father, and he figured out that it's easier to just sit there and stay quiet and then say anything because just run out of steam.
Times I brought him for that.
Right, like, you know what? Kudos to you, kid. You figured it out.
You're not going to say something stupid if you don't say something. So
Exactly. Like, I used to do that at the Marine Corps when I was getting yelled. You just sit there and stay quiet, and eventually they start running out of steam. And then the younger Marines that I had, when I was sitting there yelling at them, they did the same thing. They just stayed quiet. Now, Gray did take sole responsibility as far as the plan and the execution of the trial worth for the unicorns. He was trying to spare his brother Soren from the worst of it. I think he did a pretty good job at taking the brunt of everything to make sure that we didn't have Soren getting in the backlash. See, obviously he didn't want to do it. He didn't feel comfortable doing it. He just kind of had to go with him because Gray's his brother. We go back into a dream and we speak with Professor Helmuth again, and Shami also mentions that there's an anklet that Professor Helmuth wears, and it was actually mentioned twice now in the first 10 chapters. So I really am curious if there's something significant about this anklet, because again, it's being noted that she has it. He does not understand what an ethereal whelk arcanist is capable of. Gray does not realize what ethereal whelk magic can do, and he literally thinks of everything that he should not have thought about in her presence.
Don't tell her, don't tell her, don't tell her.
Well, maybe if I lie, I don't tell her about this, or I don't say that, and then she's just like, well, what about this? What about that? Obviously, Gray is extremely concerned that he is not going to be accepted or allowed into the academy now because he lied to the unicorns. She did reassure him that had he lied and bonded with the unicorns, that they would definitely not be going to the academy for sure. She is going to continue to work with him to get to the bottom of these spider creatures, and she told Gray not to worry about bonding with a mystical creature quite yet. She does state that the headmaster has a menagerie of creatures for those that have not bonded, and basically the headmaster is trying to give everybody an equal start as being an arcanist. I really like that, where you don't have to be rich, you don't have to be bonded already. Here's your chance.
Chapter 7 is 2 years later, age 15. So Gray and Soren are leaving the island. They're heading to the academy. The father really does want them to stay. It's this cute little moment. Like, he doesn't want to come out and say it, but he's just telling them, like, oh, if there's a bad omen, you should just come back. Like, you don't want to start your day on a bad omen. Just in the hopes of, like, anything could be interpreted as a bad omen, and maybe they'll turn around and stay on the island. Soren actually left without him, which I find pretty funny, because Gray's so excited to go to the academy, and Soren's like, nah, I got up earlier, like, I'm out. They get to the ship, and the ship captain is a griffin arcanist. Gray starts spitting all these facts that he learned from Professor Helmuth in his dreams about griffins. Soren also loves griffins, so Gray kind of lets him have this one, but he's like, hey, Helmuth told me this, Helmuth told me that, Helmuth told me this.
Alright, stop. Round nosing everybody here.
Yeah. The captain of the ship doesn't believe in them at all. He's like, yeah, nobody really makes it. Like, they all come back, so I'll be seeing you all on the return journey.
I mean, feels savage, but at the same time, like, he's a realistic person.
He is. He's like, I make the return journey. Also, like, I know how few of you actually make it in.
This is where chapter 8 picks up, traveling to the academy as Soren and Gray are getting settled into their area where they're going to be sleeping for the day trip. We also get to meet a new person, Ninny Wanderland, and she's on the boat to the academy as well. She is from the Isle of Lean, where leviathans come from. Instead of her being able to try to do her trial of worth, the leviathans actually left because some were ended up being killed throughout the night, and maybe some could say that in their dreams.
Might be a connection.
Gray has noted that he has not been visited by Professor Helmuth in quite a few weeks, and he's probably chalking that up. Gray's chalking that up as she's getting everything ready for the academy, for the new arrival, for everybody. So that's probably why. And she's got other people she's got to protect to make sure they're safe as well. So kind of keep that in the back of our minds here. And as we get closer to what is called the gate, I'm trying to remember if it's actually stated. Yes. So they're coming up to this giant ring in the middle of the water, like in the ocean, I assume. Gray goes and grabs Soren, makes sure Soren comes up and basically is like, hey, I got this cool secret that you're about to see. And as they approach it, somebody places a star shard on the deck of the ship. And as they go through the ring, star shard starts to glow and all the runes on the ring light up and freaking cool magic happens.
Brings us to chapter 9, which is the Gates of Crossing. So the gate is etched with Rizzles, and we get to see our first, I'm assuming artifact, but Rizzle artifact. We had a whole bunch of magic imbuing in the last series, but Rizzles were not used. But the Gates of Crossing are imbued with Rizzle magic. So they actually teleport from the middle of the ocean to what is this giant castle, I guess, for lack of a better word. There's cannons on the buildings, and this is Astra Academy.
I want to go there.
I know, more than Hogwarts.
Yeah, I actually really want to go there more than Hogwarts. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Soren starts spewing off his poems about the academy, and Gray's kind of like, would you stop that? I'm trying to look cool here.
Nobody knows us here. Like, don't ruin our cred yet.
Yeah, we can't be known as those kids already. More ships are arriving, and as they are gathering to try and look for the teachers, this man kind of grabs Nini, and Soren stands up for him. Novak apologizes and then is all rude to Soren, like, oh, she doesn't need you to stand up for her. Like, you think you're all cool because you're big and brawn. Gray can sense the awkwardness, and he's like, hey, look over there, it's a professor, and then runs away.
I mean, he took care of the situation before it got out of hand. It doesn't... Like, what a dick. What a dick that Novak is.
He really is.
And with that, we get into chapter 10, Astra Academy Menagerie. I love saying menagerie. This word is in this book so many times. I love saying it. I have to admit, I got stupid excited when they mentioned that a Rizzle arcanist was walking up, because I got so excited to see that Ilya was going to be there, and then it wasn't Ilya.
Sad face.
Sad face. We get to meet the Guardian Captain, Captain Leon, and he is a Cerberus arcanist. So Cerberus is the one with 3 heads. And Captain Leon is like not evil corrupted Plague Ruma. And I feel like we find out that the Rizzle arcanist's name is Piper. I feel like Piper is like the drunkard Zelfrey when we first meet him. And again, we'll see her later on, so we'll definitely get into her relationship with her Rizzle later on as well. The Cerberus's name is Styx, and there's a little bit of a mockery going on about that. I thought it was clever, not because, like, granted his name is Sticks, but because he's a dog and he likes to chase sticks. When I listened to this the first time, because I didn't read it, actually this is my first read through of the book, not listening to it. I thought his name was Styx, Styx, meaning the river in hell where Cerberus guards. So I totally thought this was, and it's still cool. Still love the duality of the name, but love it either way.
Also, I'm not trying to make fun of the three-headed giant dog.
That can spit fire? Like, no.
That's Death Wish.
Exactly. He's a Rottweiler with 3 heads. You don't want to mess with that, okay?
We have one with 1 head, but he's not vicious.
We do also get told about how Headmaster Venrover, name drop, is the one that personally maintains the menagerie out of his own pocket. He's the one that paid for the ships to come across and the star shards used to go back and forth through the gates of crossing and to maintain the menagerie for these mystical creatures. Also that, again, these people that are quote-unquote low-born, they're not royalty or any kind of noble or anything like that. They haven't had a chance to get out and explore and become an arcanist themselves, so that they have a chance to become arcanists and to change something and do something cool. Now we get this playful banter back and forth between Captain Leon and with Piper. And I see these, wait. So Leon is like, it's not very polite, appropriate for you to come being drunk. And her retort to that is, she isn't drunk, she's just hungover. And there's a difference, because one affects her abilities to perform, the other affects her desire to perform.
It's so perfect.
And again, nobody could have said this any better than a Rizzle Arcanist. Like, that's something I could totally see Nicolin saying had he been drunk and hungover. We are also told at the end of the chapter that not everyone will be able to bond and that there are only a certain number of creatures. And unfortunately, there are a couple of mystical creatures, or a few actually, that are not willing to bond or had not been willing to bond for the last couple of years. So unfortunately, there are definitely going to be people going back to the ship after this. So, and this is where chapter 10 ends today. I always forget how quick this goes through these first few chapters. Like, I'm not saying they're not important. There's so much information, and especially with, I'm not sure how long the gap was between Grandmaster Arcanist and the Academy series coming out, or Academy Arcanist coming out. But it is nice to have that refresher, and that's what most of these chapters begin with, is just kind of a refresher on things and kind of remind us how the world works and such.
So they actually, Academy came up before Grandmaster?
Did it?
So in Academy, and going through, like, we will catch some of the things, but certain people, their names could not be used because she didn't want to give away whether they lived or died through. So that's also why certain characters appear later in the series, but not in Astra. It's also why we don't learn of certain characters' first names, because it's implied that it could be somebody else and not them specifically.
That's so evil.
Yeah, it was wild because I was waiting for Grandmaster to come out, and like Astra dropped first. I read Astra, and you're like, these are obviously related, but you're thinking, oh, Venrover. We don't know who Venrover is. We know of a Venrover family from the first series, but it's not, you don't find out who it actually is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was wild.
That is such a mind trip. And I listened to the first 2 books, and then I think as I was finishing the second book is when the third one came out. So then I started reading them from there, because audiobooks didn't keep up with the release of the actual physical books, and there's no way in hell that I'm going to wait for the audiobook to come out when I'm going to consume it in like 3 days. So, All right, with that, we will end today's episode, and next week we'll be going over chapters 11 through 15 of Astra Academy.